have two things. And good to see you again, Mr. Peter Fayose. Oshokomola himself, Peter the Rock. All you have said,
thank you very much.
All you have said is a justification of continued illegality in our country. And a lot of people are taken aback because also you yourself have been secretly recorded by an army captain when you were hatching out election fraud plans yourself in 2014. And we all remember that experience. So is it that we should continue in that now? And I also like to ask you this honestly. If another person apart from Bola Ahmed Tinubu you supported won this election, would you come on air and say all of these things that you're saying, that people should move on without justice? You try to just rationalize what happened in Lagos. Yes, it happened in other parts of the country. But the killings, the hurts, the laceration of people's body and the likes, that happened in parts of the country, but most importantly, what happened in Lagos. So should we justify this now because it favors people that you were in support of?
Can I just correct you there? I take exception to your claim that I was secretly recorded. And I take exception that nobody has proven that. Yes, I can be recorded, but nobody will ever say to you that I said you should go and rig an election. And I want to say to you, I've avoided touching on this area. When you are talking about Nigeria, let us start with the press. And let us start with your person. You recall the incident on the bus lane and you attack on the police. That shows that you, as a journalist, a public analyst, somebody who is supposed to live above board is not equally living above board. And he that must come to equity must have clean hands. I read a lot and I listen to your comments. I feel, like I said, we need to sit back and correct a lot of things.
But you give me right of rebuttal. You give me right of rebuttal on the bus lane incident because I put it to you, sir. You don't know the full story.
Excuse me.
You give me right of rebuttal.
If you go that lane, we will not make a sense of this program. I was invited by your station. If you didn't touch something that impugns on my personality, I will not give you an answer to that. So if you're asking a question, I told Ruben about it yesterday, and I specifically complained about you. And your attack on the people you don't believe in as a politician.
No, I have a right to do my job. You can't complain about me to my colleagues.
Excuse me, I am equally telling you, I know where you are. That's all right of you as well. That is technically not right of you as well. And if you want to make a sense out of this program, let us leave personal attacks, because you are good at that. And I'm equally good if you want it, I'll serve it as well as that. So this program is meant to talk about issues of Nigeria and not issues of a person. We know where you are. We know where you belong. We know the parties you are supporting. But let's leave that out of the issue.
Okay, so Mr. Fayose, I'm going to give you a quick rebuttal. Number one, I do my job here objectively as I can.
If you give me one,
let me finish.
I will give it back to you.
Mr. Fayose, let me finish.
If you give me,
I have the right to respond.
I only responded.
I have the right to respond. Let me
finish. It's not personal between the two of us.
You made it personal, so I have the right to respond.
It's not personal.
Okay, so
between the two of us, you can take me out of this.
Mr. Fayose, I have the right to respond. I do my job objectively,
so that
I
you can have a free day. Congratulations.
Political party.
Congratulations for doing your job.
Yeah, please.
Congratulations for doing your job. I am not one of those politicians who belong to public domain to talk to anyhow. It is important to note that.
Mr. Fayose, can we make progress?
Thank you.
This is not a dialogue. This is a conversation.
I'm with you.
Yes, this is a program.
It's a conversation. And let him not get personal.
Yes,
let him not get personal on this program.
No, it's okay. Our job is to ask you questions, you respond.
Ruben, I told you yesterday, and I mentioned Hussaini's name particularly why I avoid Arise Television. And you assured me that you're going to moderate it in a way. Hussaini cannot, if it's his job, go for my personality or my person on the live television.
It's okay, Mr. Fayose. Can we return to the issues?
Wow, this is huge. This is interesting. Can you imagine all these politicians? See Fayose defending nonsense, defending rubbish. They ask you a simple question. You were once a public officer or public whatever they call it. You have been asked question of what you did before. You say they are going on your personal dissing. So all of you are ganging up against Rufai. He said he was even saying it that he told Ruben that this boy, he's always behaving as if he knows it all. He didn't want to. He has been avoiding Arise TV. You can imagine. These are the kind of people we are going to push out of this country. The biggest mistake Arise TV will make is to take Rufai off the station. He is the cardinal reason many of us watch money show. He is blunt, fearless, objective, factual, and most importantly, he asks the question we would love to ask guests on the show. He makes politicians afraid and uncomfortable, and we absolutely love it. Any attempts to remove Rufai, we see the station's viewership plummets to unimaginable depth. Ayofashi had just confirmed that the Nigerian politicians don't have shame. Rufai must be protected since evil politicians are now ganging up. They are ganging up against him. So this Fayose does not even want Nigeria to move forward. They don't want it. They don't want it. There was a time he was even asked, how do we now move forward? Are we going to move forward without justice? He was just blabbing here and there, blabbing, and blabbing, saying everybody did it, everybody does it. So, Jesus, can you imagine? Honestly, I think Oseni Rufai deserves an international award on journalism. You know exactly where to hit these politicians. Self-centered and lying politicians. Keep up the good work. See the way your Fayose is crying. Because to me, he was just shouting on top of his voice. Anybody that wants to defend Tinubu, that is the character they portray. They will be shouting on top of their voice. They will be afraid. They will be... Because to me, he was just crying. He was crying and crying. Stomach infrastructure man. If Rufai starts saying okay, Wahala is brewing, promise, he will drop a grenade. I am happy I had a glass of juice and ice while listening to this interview. So interesting that Nigeria detractors are afraid of Rufai Oseni. At this point, Rufai deserves international awards. Rufai, please be warming up for political position. I swear you will beat the next EFCC chairman. You can imagine, sir, they know where you belong. That is when you begin to talk about somebody who is not doing the right thing, they will say, oh, you belong to the other party, because they are not truthful to themselves, because they are as evil as even the devil himself. They cannot see the truth and say it. They are always like this, like this, like this, like that. Oh my goodness, this interview trended on Twitter like wildfire. Is it possible for someone to be saying this kind of a thing on national TV? Can you imagine? Arise is the only media house in Nigeria. May God Almighty protect the crew. I love you, Rufai. You are the man we must celebrate because you say the mind of the people. Whether it's going to change later or not, but at least there are people who are being constantly checked that what you are doing is not right. As for today, Nigerians are going to be celebrating him. We are talking about genuine Nigerians, not the ones that are stomach infrastructure. If he do any harness tomorrow, he said go collect. That's it. God must raise somebody, because most of the time you see all these journalists, they're just asking questions just to be trying to be politically correct. Is this Oseni Rufai that always hits them, and that's why Tinubu run. You know, if he come, tell me, let international body access most of all these media houses in Nigeria, and to come out and to be sincere. You think Arise will not be one of the best stations that we have? And of course, we will know that it's this man that is always hitting the politicians where they never expected. So guys, let's hear your opinion and have your take on this.